The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 181.
Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of real women producing extraordinary results by finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Get your free audiobook at our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com.
Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady. She is the founder of Pop Up Parcel, and she'll elaborate more on what it's about. But I'm just, honored to have her on to share her story on her journey to self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Frances Tang. Frances, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Hi, Sheena. I'm doing well, and I'm super excited to be here. My name is Frances, like you said, and I currently reside in Southern California. So my background, I'm born and raised in Northern California, went to school here, very supportive family, got my bachelor's in communications, and really didn't know what I wanted to do. It was a rough job market when I got out of school, and I was very lost, very confused. A lot of my friends got really awesome jobs in the Bay Area at really trendy tech companies, and I was in Orange County with no idea what I wanted to do. I finally found my calling, which was entrepreneurship, after struggling for a while, and I had to sit down and decide on what I wanted to focus on. So my first business, the Hush Experience, I guess you could say, if you wanted to be dramatic, it failed because it wasn't scalable enough. There was a lot that I didn't know. But in learning from that experience, I changed the concept. It's the same target market, and I created Pop Up Parcel. So as a quick overview, Pop Up Parcel, we plan and deliver date night to couples, people who are married, unmarried, just people who are looking for something different to do aside from the same old Netflix and takeout on the couch on Friday and Saturday night. The catch with our company is that we don't give you the plan, and we send you clues in the mail. We send you a physical package, and you open it up and you follow the directions and to have your date night. So that's kind of a quick background on who I am and how I got to where I am today.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And that's a very cool concept on, having dates, whether it's married or unmarried. I mean, I've never heard that before. It's kind of like a scavenger hunt, kind of. And yeah, I just wanted to say that. And Frances, what's your cultural background?
I'm Chinese.
Thanks for sharing that. And what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
My favorite self-confidence quote, I'm not sure who said this, so I'm sorry if it's someone that's super well known, but my favorite quote is, "In the end, we only regret the chances we didn't take." And that's really a quote that drives me forward, even when I have no idea what I'm doing or I'm doing something that's very off the beaten path. I take that to heart, and I don't want to live a life and regret not trying something or seeing something through or just testing it out to see whether or not it worked, because I think you never know what can happen. And just living without regret is kind of what drives me forward into the unknown.
I like that quote. And, there's a lot of people out there who live life, regretting half the things that they wanted to do. And even if the results we want from what we want to do is not what we were looking for, at least we know the answer, right? Instead of wondering what if. So, I really love that you mentioned that. And in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
I personally think that self-confidence is really, truly not caring what other people think, which I know is so hard to do, especially with the advent of social media, and you see everyone's, wonderful, glittery lives online. It's very, very hard, but to truly not care and have faith in what you are doing and have faith that you're being true to yourself and doing what you truly want to do. I think just FOMO and with technology, it's so hard to not look at what other people are doing and think about it or be jealous. I mean, I see what my friends are doing and I'm like, oh man, should I have gone the corporate path? Should I have done this? But at the end of the day, I guess it circles back to not wanting to wonder, what if I didn't do it? And so I think, yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. And it's true, right? I mean, I think also being like, women in Asian cultures, like we've there's always a lot of comparing. It's like,
Yeah, it's hard.
look at so and so. Why aren't you like that? Or look at, I mean, it's just something we're all like accustomed to, and sometimes that can hurt us because it's like, well, why aren't I like that person, right? Because I mean, it's not our path, and then we don't, and and that's nothing's wrong with that, but you have to realize you are on your own path, and you have to focus on what you want to do versus always trying to see what other people are doing and be jealous or wonder why you're not in that path. So I really like that definition that you mentioned. And, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
I think I was living that FOMO life, that fear of missing out, and seeing what people were doing and lost and trying to follow the quote unquote the normal path, going to a good college, getting a good job, in my head looking for that husband and just doing what I thought you were supposed to do. I was living the life that I thought was supposed to happen and I thought was normal, and I wasn't happy that way. It didn't spark my interest. I wasn't passionate about that until I discovered entrepreneurship, and I became obsessed with these ideas that I had, and they would kind of keep me up at night and thinking of different solutions. And I think when you find that, that's when you know you found it, the thing where you can't sleep because you're so excited to get up and work on it and solve it, even if you've never done it before.
Thanks for sharing that. And I know what you mean when you have this like idea and you're just like inspired by it, right? It's just like you're just working through inspiration, and you don't even call it work because you're having so much fun that it's just like, this is something that you've been wanting to do. It's kind of like your calling. So, what was that aha moment in your life when you realized, you had the confidence to just go out there and be an entrepreneur no matter what happened?
For me, it was actually another quote that I read, but I realized that if I work for a company, if I get a corporate job, like most of my friends, which it's not a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think they're very happy. But for me personally, if I got a corporate job, I realized I would be putting 8 hours of my day, I would be putting my life and soul and energy and time into building somebody else's dream. But right now I am a person with a dream, and I want to put my time and energy into that. I think there are some really amazing companies and causes out there, and if those speak to you, I think it's absolutely phenomenal and it's something you should do. But for me personally, putting so much of my time and effort and life into building something else was kind of the moment where I thought, okay, that's not what I want to do. I need to see what happens if I try to build my own.
Yeah, and it's amazing, right? Because when we put that much work into working for someone else, we can use that same energy and create something on our own, right? And like you said, there's nothing wrong with working for someone else. I mean, if you love what you do, that's great, but it's not for everybody. And, sometimes you have to make that decision whether if you're going to stay in a job or go out there and do your own thing. And, like you said, you made the decision to be an entrepreneur. And, after that realization, what's your life been now?
I will admit that sometimes it's still very scary. I still see people with very stable corporate jobs, and I'm like, oh my goodness, should I be doing that? Or friends who are getting married and starting families, and I think, oh man, should I be doing that? And I will admit that I do still care what people think. It's a scary, lonely path, I think, to be an entrepreneur when you're kind of hacking at the weeds and you can't see where you're going. But I truly believe that after having taken the leap of faith once, and even though you could say that I failed, I don't regret it. I learned so much that time, and I'm willing to do it again, and I am doing it again, but doing it better. And that's what's really exciting, just being able to learn from everything that I've done before and keep pushing forward. I guess it's the excitement of the unknown that keeps me going, but it's definitely, there's never a dull moment. And I don't regret not having the cushy corporate job or, the white picket fence.
Thanks for sharing that. And, entrepreneurship can be lonely sometimes. That's why it's called the road less traveled, right? But, there are great support systems and groups out there that we can go to, and, like great podcasts, great audios. But it is like, it's great because we have no clue what's going to happen, right? Like literally anything can happen, but it's also exciting at the same time because it's like you're open to so much opportunity out there. It's insane, especially with the power of the internet. Like, 50 years ago, we could never have the same opportunities. So, I mean, it's great. And I'm glad, you're still there doing your thing, going out there, believing in your cause. And I know it's just going to take off. And yeah, fear is part of it. Sometimes you got to feel the fear and do it anyway. And, to me, failure is nothing wrong with it. It's a good thing. It's just, taking you to that path that you're supposed to go. So, Frances, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey to self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
I think something that really helped me was that it's scary with the big world around you and thinking that people are looking at you and watching you and judging you. And sometimes it's even really scary to think that other women are watching you and judging you. But something that helped me was I tried to think of a time where I saw a woman fail or do something wrong or bad and where I laughed at her, judged her, and that's never happened. And I think people feel like they're being judged and looked at all the time, but that's not really the case. And if you kind of think about yourself, and if you do that, the rest of the world is exactly the same way. They're not. They're trying to figure out their own life and figure out what they want to do and where they want to go. And so that's really helped me, in addition to just trying to live without regrets, just really, truly not wanting to regret not trying something or not seeing something through because you can. There's so many resources out there, like you said, and your friends and family, everyone will be supportive. It's just a matter of, getting over that fear.
Awesome. And those are great tips. And, like time does, the more you do it, the more people will start to believe in what you're doing. It's just, you have to be the change first and the rest will come along. And so so thanks for sharing those awesome tips. And if our listeners want to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yeah, they can go to my website, popupparcel.com, or they can actually go to my personal website, which is francistang.net. And anyone who wants to chat or connect, I love networking. I would love to talk to women who, are looking for advice or tips, or even women who might know more than I do, because I know there's so many more women out there who know so much, and just learning from each other and supporting each other, I think, is so important. So please, even if you feel weird about it, do not hesitate to contact me or email me or go to one of my websites and hunt me down, because I would love to talk to you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Frances, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Frances' name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just really want to thank Frances for taking the time to share her story with us. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me, Sheena. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. It was fun having you on. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us at the Tao of Self-Confidence. Head over to the taoofselfconfidence.com for full recaps of every show, our amazing blog articles and resources, and just plain fun. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits, so start today.